Today we are going to be reviewing the Zenith Defy Classic 41 blue dial, sunray blue dial, very beautiful on its full titanium H-Link integrated bracelet. Now this is a watch that I have long been interested in. I've wanted to buy the skeletonized dial personally. And I have a friend of mine, John, who wanted to sell this exact version that I have in hand. And I asked him, I said, hey, before you let it go, do you mind if I review it on the channel? And so he graciously sent this to me. I get to share it with you guys today, show you all the details, the excellent parts of this watch. And at the end of the video, if anyone's interested in purchasing this exact blue version that I'm sharing with you, the price is excellent. So that will be available for those that are interested. Now let's talk about the watch. Let's start with the specs. I'll put them here on the screen. And one of the nice things about this is it wears slightly more diminutive than its 41mm diameter indicates. And I think the reason for that is twofold. One, it has a nice short lug-to-lug length. It has a nice thin profile, but it's constructed of grade 5 titanium. So it's a very high grade titanium. It looks exactly like stainless steel, you know, when it comes to the finishing and the light play, but it's feather light. You almost forget that you have it on wrist. So it's just very, very comfortable. And as you guys can see in natural light, it is stunning. The light play, especially on this integrated H-Link bracelet, is just incredible. It's probably the closest that you'll get to an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak while spending less, you know, than $10,000. Just when it comes to the visual presence here, the execution is top notch. And it's really one of the highlights of the watch for me. I know it's very comfortable on rubber or on alligator, but the bracelet is just, it really makes the watch in my opinion. So just take a look at this light play and how, I mean, the tolerances are excellent. You get this almost rigidity where the bracelet will not lay exactly flat on the case back, but it's, I don't know, it's very comfortable on wrist. No pinching or pulling of hair. And again, the light play is it's just so much fun, guys. So let's talk about the dial here. The dial details are almost as exquisite as the bracelet. We have hand-applied rhodium applied markers, and you'll notice that they cantilever over the face of the sunray blue dial, which I think is an excellent detail. It's a detail that you can find in vintage watches. Now, it's important to note that because this Defy Classic, emphasis on classic, is kind of returning to the roots of the designs of the 1970s, specifically from Zenith. And Defy was a line within the Zenith lineup that was popular during that era. So Defy kind of meaning defying tradition, pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries, doing something that is impressive and new. And I like that. So they're taking vintage design cues here, doing it in a modern way, and then also pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable at price points, the details, the technologies here. So this watch, this Classic 41, I think definitely lives up to the Defy name and the ethos that it represents. So going back to the dial, sorry, I'm getting a little distracted here. Those markers cantilever over that section. That is something that you would find on a watch from that era. And it's a nice little detail. The only thing that I'm a little disappointed in is when this watch was announced at Basel, the prototypes had Defy on the dial. It was printed above the 6 o'clock position. And you'll notice here that that's absent on the production model versions. I'm not sure why they decided to take that off. I find that disappointing personally. I would love to see Defy proudly displayed on the dial, because again, guys, I think the watch definitely lives up to that, to the line, but it's not present here on this version. But you can look at the other details, the sharpness, the crispness. It's done very well. One interesting thing to note is your date aperture is completely square, as opposed to slightly more of a rectangle form, what you'll see in other watches. So I think that's pretty interesting. Now, if we turn the watch over, you will see Defy placed on the case back right there, and then you can take a look at this Zenith Elite caliber. Now, I'll put some specs here relating to the movement on the screen, We'll show you some macro video and we'll talk about what makes this impressive, because again, I believe the movement here is helping push the boundary of what's acceptable. It's defying tradition. We have a full silicone escapement. Now, I'm not sure if you can quite see it. It's slightly hard to find on this non-open dial work version, but you can see the full silicone escapement and how it's anodized. It changes color between blue and purple. It's completely unlubricated, and that's going to help you with longevity between service intervals. So I find that pretty impressive. And another detail that I personally appreciate, just as a watch fan, is the form of the escapement. It's skeletonized, but the form is a star, and that star is repeated throughout the watch. Zenith is very proud of their piece, and so they're putting their logo everywhere. It's here on the escapement. It's here on the tungsten rotor, very heavy metal, nice mass to it, so it really spins around the dial. It's on the rotor, it is on the dial, it's on the counterbalance of the seconds hand, and it's even found here on the back of not only the case back, but the back of the bracelet where the butterfly clasp comes together. Now let's get back to the movement. Sorry, this watch is easy to get lost in. The movement is impressive because, we have 28,800 vibrations per hour. And as you guys can see, it's very well finished. It has more, I would say more of an industrial feel, with the brushing, the matte areas, the pop of polish, the gunmetal. It has a very sharp look. Not quite, highly decorated like what you would see in a JLC, but still very fun to look at. And it has a bi-directional quick set date, which is something that you really don't see that often. So I like seeing this. It's hacking, it's hand winding, very well regulated, beautiful to look at. It's got the tungsten, it's got the silicone, it's got the anodization, the different finishing. I think, again, along with the bracelet, this is one of the highlights of this piece. So what do I think of the watch? Let's just wrap up the video. I'm impressed. I think it's a great modern release. It's a nice size. The bracelet is $1 million bracelet here. The movement's excellent. I would love to add one to my own collection. I like this Sunray Blue, but I think I would enjoy the skeletonized dial just a little bit more personally. But if anyone's interested in this exact model, I'll put my email address in the description. And you can reach out to me directly. The price is awesome. So John is asking, he's asking $4,000, which is lower than what these normally go for on a bracelet. And this version is a full kit, very nice box, papers, warranty card. It was purchased at an authorized dealer. And so reach out if you're interested. We can negotiate. I've got the watch. You can pay John directly, and I'll send the watch to you. I am looking for a USA buyer, so reach out with any questions. And thanks, guys, for taking the time to watch this Defy Classic 41 video, this presentation. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Again, thanks for taking the time to watch. Reach out with questions, offers, and see you guys in the next video.